Let's not panic. Let's just welcome everyone to another Humble and Fred show. Here we are in the groove. This is it. This is the sweet spot right here. We're grooving. And,
Great song.
yeah. We're just hanging out. This is how it starts. People go, oh, is that the official start to the show now? Yeah. That's how she starts. You know, you and I have a little chat, see how you're doing. And then we hand it over to Philly.
Philly. I think that's your cue.
Oh, absolutely. The following episode.
Oh, no, you got to wait till I get rid of the opening cool song, man.
I see.
It's fine. He hasn't been paying attention to how we start the show.
The following jazzy episode of Humble and Fred Radio is brought to you by FYI Music News, The Retirement Sherpa, Gig Sky, The Chambers Plan, Palma Pasta, CDN Technologies, and our newest sponsor, Sticker You, where you can get your stickers on Queen Street or order anywhere in the world. If you'd like to talk to Humble and Fred, call 1-833-437-8465. That's 1-833-HF-STINK. And now from the cool worldwide headquarters of the Humble and Fred Show, here are Humble and Fred.
Mark Jordan's our guest. Speaking of cool, one of the most prolific Canadian songwriters over the last 40, 50 years. Are you okay? Where are you going? Oh, you got to go get water. All right. Mark's in the studio. Hopefully he'll play a thing or two. Speaking of music, update today on the Mississauga Festival Choir's latest star. Freddie P.
I've been in contact with them. There's been correspondence back and forth. We're closer to something happening.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what that will be. I've got to be sold on the fact of actually going down there and, like, you don't even have to audition, right? They just welcome with open arms.
Beautiful.
So I knew there had to be some kind of a like just singing on a boat, right?
Well, if you weren't with us last week, we'll tell you that story. But what I was going to say, we're going to, speaking of that, so we got that update, and a friend of yours has sent some music.
Right.
Which is, I haven't even looked at it yet, but he knows my limited guitar ability, and he has sent along some music, and maybe toward the end of the show, like after Mark Jordan leaves. I'm not playing in front of Mark. He's got some songs that you would sing around the campfire, because I suggested that once you become more comfortable singing in public, then you would just take it and run with it.
Yes, he sent, that's my buddy Alan Faulkner, who I went to public school with and high school with. He sent the sheet music and everything for a few, what he calls campfire songs.
Oh. And I'm looking at them, and they're, well within my, again, limited ability to play. So at the end of the show, we'll pick one of them. There's like 7 or 8. We'll pick one for our podcast extra, and you and I'll...
What, later in the week?
No, today at the end of the show. After Mark Jordan.
Practice after the show?
No, we'll get right into it.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm looking at them now. They're like pretty simple chords, 3-4 chords. I can't wait to hear you sing Another Saturday Night and I Ain't Got Nobody.
Is that Jimmy Buffett? Is it?
No, I don't know who did that song. There's a Jimmy Buffett song, Come Monday. Come Monday, it'll be all right.
Didn't he? Yeah, he also did like Margaritaville and burgers and fries or something.
Isn't it funny that you bring it? You know how often that happens in our... You brought up Jimmy Buffett, and I wrote a little Jimmy Buffett joke this weekend.
Did you really? What was it? Let's hear it.
So dumb. I was walking to the club on Saturday night. I walked by Margaritaville. It's still there in Niagara Falls.
Yep.
And listen, I don't want to cast any whatever, but it's a dingy little town. It is.
It's become a sad town, actually.
Thank you.
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
No, with all the gambling and stuff, it has.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, I'm walking by Margaritaville, and I see the sign. It says, Party Like a Pirate. So, like an hour later, I'm on stage. I'm like, hey, are you guys in town enjoying yourselves, people? You go to Margaritaville, and everyone's like, yay! They start going. I said, you see the sign. It says, Party Like a Pirate, and a bunch of people are drunk in the audience like, they start doing that. I go, just explain to me, didn't pirates spend a lot of their time killing and pillaging and, a decent amount of raping? I said, really, is that the kind of partying they want to promote? Shouldn't it say, party like the people the pirates didn't kill?
Yeah, right.
Which I thought was a funny line. Got nothing, but it made me laugh. But I said that. It should say, party like the people the pirates didn't kill. Those people are having a great time.
Swashbuckling.
Don't party like pirates. Not in this day and age.
I don't know why good pirates haven't complained.
Yeah.
With the political correctness we deal with nowadays.
Thank you.
There's good pirates
As
that
a
must be
pirate.
out there going, why are you stereotyping us? Like the Pittsburgh Pirates. Should they be named the Pittsburgh Pirates?
I
mean,
don't
really?
think so.
No.
Considering
That's just
how
awful.
delicate our sensitivities are. But I'm glad you got that. Anyway, we're also going to be, we'll ask the audience what you should sing.
Okay, the one thing I
Well,
will
this is too
explain
tight.
with the choir thing.
Yes.
I knew, it's not auditions. I think they welcome anybody in, whether you can sing or not.
Right.
Which saddens me a bit, because I thought him hearing me sing on the boat, he immediately thought that guy would qualify. This guy over here wouldn't qualify. That guy would qualify. Well, it turns out anybody can join.
What? I don't think anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I think so.
It's like
They want people.
just want someone. Hey, that guy's got a mouth. Yeah, let's sign him up. He seems fine. That guy has a voice.
It's be like, at the rink and seeing the phenom, the hockey player,
Right.
he's gonna be the next Gretzky, that type of thing.
Right.
That's what I thought was going on here.
That's
but
what
it
I thought
wasn't.
was going on.
Nope.
And now it's anything.
It's a beer league. That's what it is.
Why do I keep getting emails that you're resetting your bell?
Because I had to look at our bell bill.
All right.
I had to make sure
Shows-
they gave me the credit that they had promised.
I just keep looking down at my computer. Fred Patterson's verification.
Well, because
My
it's-
bell verification
because
code.
it comes to our
I know it does.
email address.
Anyway, so that was that's our opening. Welcome, everybody. Tomorrow we're going to speak to the former Ministry of Health for this country. He's also a regular contributor to our program. Tony Clement will be calling in. Also, we're going to we've rescheduled Richard Surrett. I think he's going to make an appearance this week as well. Mm-hmm. And as I say, it's going to be kind of cool seeing Mark Jordan. I went and saw him play somewhere in the last 2 or 3 months over at the Glenn Gould Theater and on the CBC there. Fancy. He's quite a performer, quite a accomplished. He'll have some singing tips for you.
I'm sure he will. And I look forward to that.
Maybe you'll audition for him.
That'll be like getting golf tips from you.
Oh, no, he's a much better singer than I'm a golfer.
No,
that's for sure.
no.
Oh, yeah. And maybe he'll sing along with Marina Del Rey or something.
That's a good song. I like that song. Play it.
Okay.
When you
What was that?
That's a nice song.
What were you just singing?
I was humming Marina Del Rey, what I could remember of it.
Niblana? No, it's not middling.
Middling in Niagara Falls.
That's right. Middling on sponge cake. I was middling. I'll tell you what, man. We'll play a little of the song, and I'll tell you what I think about doing stand-up 5 times in 3 nights. There's the song playing. Oh, there we go. Sorry. Here we go. Nibbling on. There's no nibbling in this song. Just so you know.
Man with no story.
Do you know this song, Sean? And you're like a millennial.
Yeah.
You kind of know the song?
Kind of know this
Yeah.
song.
When he does it in concert, when he did it in a concert I saw, he just tells a story about moving to L.A. and he wanted to be a songwriter and he was living in Marina Del Rey.
I'm going to put this on my summer playlist.
Tell me more.
I'm going to put this on my summer playlist. That's what I'm going to do.
Is there a
what
choir
I'm gonna
version
do.
of this?
Bow, bow. Yeah, he's very accomplished. Anyway, I was doing a Thursday, 2 shows Friday, and 2 shows Saturday. And usually, like I've done this club before, and it's usually pretty packed for all the shows. And we had a decent crowd on Saturday first show, Friday first show. But definitely, I would say, the whole town has been affected by the coronavirus. There just weren't as many people around. There weren't as many people in restaurants, and there weren't as many people at the show. But there were some drunken people. That was fun.
Do you think that's it? Really?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
People aren't just using that as an excuse now for bad crowds.
And
I'm not saying you are. I'm saying, do you think? Well, I guess I am saying you are.
Yeah, you are.
But I don't mean that with any malice.
No, I know you don't.
Do you really think that was the effect?
Listen, I did this
at
club
that level.
Absolutely, I did this club a year ago for the first time, and I know it was about a year ago this time because
it was a year ago at this time.
It was a year ago this time, and every show was because they paper the house, meaning that they have people obviously. You buy tickets, but they also have a lot of specials all around town. You don't get in for free, but you get lots of discounts when you eat at this restaurant and that restaurant.
And they say, in the casinos, if you've lost the grocery money, here, go to a comedy show.
Exactly.
Right.
So, again, these are people that work for us. So okay.
I'm sorry.
No, I know. I'm not saying this with any malice, but anyway,
trying to be funny.
Listen, we're all trying. We're doing our best.
Well,
we're all trying. Just
keep trying.
Yeah, just go easy on the people I'm working for.
Okay, I understand.
My point is, a year ago, every show was very well attended. Even the Thursday shows, the second shows Friday, were well over 125 people. The early shows were packed, like the whole place was packed. So I can just tell you and even walking through like places like TGI Fridays, and you have to walk through a Ruth's Chris to get to the club, and like just the whole, even Saturday night when I was walking home back to my hotel around 11:30, there just weren't that many people out.
And it was pleasant out, right?
Pretty pleasant.
Yeah.
Although it snowed there on
Friday.
Saturday morning.
Oh, Saturday morning. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was weird. Anyway.
But it's very nice, though, if you visit there now as a tourist, because it means you've got lots of space. The attractions don't have lineups. You don't have as much group travel, so no one to be annoyed about.
I know, but I don't need to see the falls again.
Well, Pearlie loved it.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about you because, you've been a proponent of, not going out for some time now. I mean, you're ahead of the curve. You were Corona before it was cool.
Oh, yeah, I know.
How about that? That's right. You were Corona before it was cool. Because here's the thing. There is nothing, I've noticed this the last year of my life, nothing more that I love than not going anywhere. It's followed closely by napping. Those are my two favorite things. Not going out and napping.
See, I was cutting edge.
You were.
You're just catching up. Yeah.
I was going out randomly. Now I'm like, I couldn't wait to get home and watch golf all afternoon.
No, I mean, if I was a stand-up comic, I'd probably do 5 minutes on how the coronavirus is giving me an excuse not to do stuff. It'd be great.
Oh, write it down.
I will.
I'll do it tonight.
No, okay. Tonight? Oh, right.
I'm going on stage tonight.
Right.
Yeah, I did that joke, and that seemed to resonate with people. I said that, you get to a certain age. I said, I'm at the age now where my two favorite things are not going out and napping. And some old people laughed at that. I said, old people talk about napping the way we used to talk about falling in love. It's true. We get this dreamy look on your face. It's like, oh, my God, I had the best nap the other day. Oh, yeah? It's almost like we knew each other. We didn't have to, you know what I mean? We get that. It's true, though. When you have a good nap, you wake up, you feel like, oh, my God. What have I been doing my whole life?
Yeah.
Anyway.
This, it's amazing. All this South by Southwest and in Austin, Texas has been canceled now. And the Women's International Ice Hockey Federation, the Women's World Championship, canceled. I just see a tennis tournament down near where you were in Palm Springs, canceled. And apparently we're not even, we haven't even hit the height of the hysteria yet, if that's the word, of the cancellations and the effects that this thing's going to have going forward.
What did I see? Was it the NBA or the NCAA talking about not having fans at their
NBA
at their games?
In fact, LeBron James has created a bit of a stir because he said he'll refuse to play in a game without fans. He said, I won't do it. We do this for the fans. And if the fans aren't there, I'm not going to play. So, I mean, just an indication of how one thing will lead. The ripple effect is what I'm getting at with this thing.
And we haven't even scratched the surface of that orange idiot and the stuff that comes out of his mouth. Like last week, I listened to Fox and CNN.
Yep.
How does Fox go on the air and not talk about the number of times Trump went, I'm not sure, I have a hunch. You know the thing he said on Friday about what a great scientist he is?
Yep.
About his uncle? He said this thing, my uncle went to MIT. He was one of the greatest scientists ever. So people wonder where I get this stuff. I have a knack for it.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I have a knack for it.
I have a knack for it. He said, maybe I should have done that instead of being a president.
Yeah.
All because his uncle
It
was a
runs in
great
the family.
scientist. My favorite Trump thing over the weekend, honestly, if you still support this guy, you yourself have issues. Honestly. He said he had a hunch the scientists were wrong.
Yeah. Oh, no, he didn't say that over the weekend. He said that last week.
Oh, okay. Whenever he said
Well, you just discovered it because you're off social media.
Yeah.
No, he said that last week. I had a hunch. He was saying, there's audio of him saying a week ago, oh, the numbers are going down. The virus numbers are going down. I agree. If you still support this fellow, and even if you're anti-Democrat, how do you hear him talk about this virus and not think he's a complete moron?
And then he has all his creepy little minions that are still supporting him. Like even you watch even Chris Wallace on Fox, who's one of the guys on Fox who actually has a brain in his head, who doesn't have an ulterior motive. He has people on his panel that are still defending Trump.
Yeah.
Like, and you can see it in their faces. They're almost embarrassed to be doing it, but they have to because they fear for their future if they don't.
I can't remember. I know I sent you a couple articles, but Dan, are you there?
I am here, yeah.
I'm sorry, Dan. I apologize. We were in a very heated discussion about, did you hear what I said? That whole idea of not going out? That's Fred Patterson. He was Corona before it was cool, man.
He's way ahead of the curve.
So much so. And by the way, I'm trademarking Corona before it was cool.
Are you?
Yeah. Hey, Dan.
Put it on a T-shirt. Yeah.
Danny.
Yeah.
Now, listen. I know you're a huge Trump supporter, but it's time to get off that, okay?
You mean he's not the expert on the flu virus like he was talking about, I think, yesterday?
Yeah, we just mentioned that. He was talking about how his uncle went to MIT and he should have been a scientist because he has a real knack for it. He has a knack
for science.
For science.
These guys are all amazed at how quickly I've picked this up as something like what he said yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he doesn't even know what a knack is. Like, you can't have a knack for... You have to learn science.
Yep.
It's not like a...
natural born
It's
thing.
not like, picking up a guitar and having a... it's...
talent.
I mean, anyways, whether you do or some people just do. Some people have a knack for science. That's how their brain works. His doesn't.
Yeah.
He hasn't. You know what he has a knack for? He has a knack for lying. He's amazing at it. He's a great, great liar. Because sometimes people who lie, even they seem a bit embarrassed about it. But he never does.
No, and the people that support him. And I've said, his supporters they're worse than him. Because we know what he is.
Right.
So for you to stand back and have the time to assess and analyze and just think about it, and you still support him, to me, that's worse than him.
Your conclusion reflects on you.
Like, it's bizarre.
Yeah. Dan?
Like, how do you do
Yes.
that?
Dan, you've got to stop this endless support of Donald Trump.
Okay. I'll back off the whole
So
support.
there were some Americans in the crowd this weekend. I said, are you guys worried about the virus? I said, well, no. How did I put it? I said, I guess you guys aren't worried about the virus now that Mike Pence is in charge. And I said, the great thing about Pence is he always looks like he's kind of squinting, right? I said, he has this look on his face like he's not sure if that's his Uber or not. Like, he's like, is that a Camry? But Dan, it's time to get off the Trump bandwagon.
All right.
Okay.
I
And
appreciate the guidance is fantastic. Coming from you guys, I think I've changed my mind entirely.
I know you're a big Trump guy.
Yeah. Right from the start.
Winning.
Dan.
See, all he cares about, like, the stock market is plummeting, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's not And, it was analyzed on the weekend. Like, Mr. President, it's not your fault. We understand, that what's happening here is affecting the stock market. Don't worry. It's not your fault. But he's so worried that he'll be held responsible. And going into the election, somebody might look at the stock market and go, it went down because of Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. It's just, that's all he cares about, his own self-image, even through this.
Oh, I know.
He can't take the lead. He can't be the compassionate leader.
No.
I think this could be his downfall, not the stock market, the virus thing, the way they handled it and the way they've set it up to not handled in the States.
I was going to say, Dan, I read a bunch of articles on the weekend, and one of them from, I think it was the New Yorker or the New York Times. Did I send this one to you where it says this could be the thing that brings down the presidency? Like, no, I didn't. Because there's no way he'll be able to spin it. There's no, it'll just be too overwhelming. When you start to see NBA playoff games with no crowds and it becomes, the evidence becomes overwhelming. He won't be able to pretend that it wasn't bungled on his watch.
Well, the test kits are just starting to roll out, so that means that people haven't been tested. So once they do start testing, all of a sudden there's going to be an explosion of the virus because now people are actually tested and they know that they have the virus, right? So that's going to, and it's been growing since, it was first landed in North America.
Yeah.
There was a
Canada's,
guy. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say Canada's way better positioned to, handle the fallout from this. I'm not so sure about the hospitals. If we can sort of stream this a little slower, that would be better. But
what were you
our hospitals are kind of.
There was a guy on 60 Minutes last night, and again, to be fair, and I can't stand Trump, but he said he was saying, like everything else, he's being blamed for a lot that he shouldn't be blamed for at this point. It really is out of his control. Has he said some things he shouldn't say? Yes. But some of the tangible things he's being blamed for are just out of his control. There's no vaccine. There's no...
but he said that the things he's being blamed for are lying about stuff he should have known.
Right.
When he said last week that all the test kits are in, they weren't. We'll have 1 million by the end of the week. We didn't. I mean, those are the things that...
Right.
And legitimately, the Democrats are going to point to and say, on your watch, you said this.
Of course they will.
You will, and with good reason.
Right.
Again, Dan, get off the Trump
But I
bandwagon.
wasn't finished.
I'm sorry.
The point was, what we've said all along, as this guy said, the president should just shut up. Just shut up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not speak out of turn or out of line or work on assumptions. He should just be quiet. Because a lot of the things that have gone wrong really aren't his fault.
No.
And trying to show the nation that he's in control, he's looking foolish.
Well, what makes him look foolish is saying things like that cruise ship, he didn't want them to come back in the country because it would do because of the numbers. Like, he's more worried about what the perception of his handling is versus actually handling it. That's what he's getting blamed for.
Right. Yeah. Although this guy last night said that was probably a good... I wish I had his name. How do I watch this stuff? But anyway, he's an independent, actually a Democrat, who's been working with this, and he said that was probably a good move.
What, keeping the cruise? Yeah, fine.
Right.
But for it's what he gets blamed for is what he says.
He talks too much.
Like I said last week,
that's been his problem since day one.
He said there was going to be 1 million kits. There wasn't, on and on and on. And by the way, Dan, the virus is going to explode in so much that most people, I read 80 or 90% of the people that are exposed to this virus will get it. It'll pass just like any other flu. The problem with the virus is social media and perception, because the virus is going to end up being no worse than any other virus we've faced.
Well, yeah, but there's no vaccine. There's no treatment for it right now, and right now it's showing up in place. Like, somebody in Ontario got it. They had just traveled to like Oklahoma.
I'm not saying you won't get sick.
Right.
I'm saying that for most people, that sickness will pass like any other sickness.
No, but that's not the fear. That's not the fear.
What do you think the fear is?
The fear is getting it and having nothing to treat it and not know how you're getting it.
Okay. Listen, we got to take a break, Dan. We'll come back for the... Dan?
Yeah, okay.
Just hang around. We'll come back for the what do you do? The weather.
The Dan Duran weather.
Dan Duran weather, yes.
Later and later.
Because we're in crisis mode.
Dan Duran Crisis.
Dan Duran Crisis. We'll come back. It's Humble and Fred Radio. We're just getting started. Mark Jordan's coming in later. I mean, I don't know if he is. Who knows who knows now?
Maybe.
Maybe people just aren't going out anymore. We'll come right back on Humble and Fred Radio.
Before and you couldn't find the smile if you nailed it to his face. But Jesus Christ.
Saw beauty in the selflessness of giving. Heard sorrow in the songs of 1,000 merchantmen, singing just to fill their emptiness. Knew wisdom was a choice of the moment, there for you to be now and not just to become. I put myself down just by looking up. Felt love from the caring of a woman. Felt the loss of a fallen child underneath the sun. On the day I woke, so soulless one. I could with my heart open, without the fear of pain it may find its way in. And if it did, I'd do the same all again. A witness flow of poetry in the ocean, and better along to my eyes met the lining of the sky. Fulfilled enough to never question why. And it showed myself upon my own reflection of a world I'm creating that's affecting everyone. On the day I woke, I saw us all as one. You sang to beat these lyrics as if they were written to the beating of my heart. If you can feel its pulse, it's not too late to start. But it's not my place for me to offer lessons or give advice to those who have their own minds. But to share with you the simple things I find. Oh, but still you held this message in your eyes. In a promise to myself I would express it, well, not knowing if I'm capable or if I would respond. On the day I woke, the soul song is one. All is when on the day I woke, so all is when. the things you gotta do. Always moving forward, always on the go. I hope you take a moment to take it slow. Let me be the one to ease your pain. Let me be the one to ease your pain. Baby, take a break. It'll be okay. Let me be the one to ease your pain.
It's Humble and Fred. Apparently, we're going into lockdown. We're going into lockdown, Phil.
Curfew.
Gotta lock down this thing. Gotta lock down the virus. Dan Duran is with us. Dan Duran is holed up in his bunker in
Yes.
Peterborough.
You know, I was just, you guys were having a conversation, and my feed was down, but I could hear you guys. I just wanted to get into the whole conversation with you guys. Do you guys do the after the show kind of thing with these breaks? Because that was an interesting conversation. You guys were going at each other.
Do we do what?
Do we record our
The way you
breaks?
go, you know, the podcast extra for whatever you have your conversation during the break
during
there.
the breaks, we should
Yeah.
we should record
when we
that.
swear.
When we're
Yeah.
doing the swearing. Yeah, Dan Duran's in his Trump bunker in Peterborough. Dan, of course, loves Trump. Anyway, Dan, are you ready for some weather? And then we got to move on
All right, let's do some weather.
because I got to get this place into lockdown mode.
All right.
All right, here we go.
Let's-
Let me make sure I have volume up here. Please stand by. Dan Duran weather, Dan Duran.
Dandaran weather, weather Dandaran. Dandaran weather, weather Dandaran. Dandaran weather, weather Dandaran.
Oh, there you go. Just bringing a whole new mood to the show once you
Yes.
start singing that song.
That's right. We're going to sing the virus into submission.
Dandaran COVID. COVID Dandaran.
Dan Duran, COVID Dan Duran.
Well, now that we've got some warmer weather, like my friend Trump has indicated, the
Yes.
flu's going to go away. So believe it or not, the temperature is going to get outstanding, double-digit highs today.
Wow.
Again, after probably the warmest day of the year yesterday, and this will top that in Toronto, probably around 15 degrees for the high, somewhere between, basically Southern Ontario, somewhere between 10 and 15 degrees you can expect. Unless you're right by the lake, then it might be a little bit cooler, but Hamilton, probably about 14 degrees. So just a really nice mix of sun and cloud today for the most part. It's going to get a little bit cloudy into the evening. Overnight tonight, the temperatures into tomorrow are going to remain warm, but we're going to get into some interesting systems coming our way with some rain. So probably around 10 o'clock to midnight, somewhere in there, starting to get some rain, and then into tomorrow, totally about 10 to 15 millimeters of rain.
What is
Then
that? When's the rain coming? I'm sorry.
Tomorrow.
I was distracted by looking at my Corona tracker. I apologize. I was looking at my worldometer,
Worldometer?
tracking the coronavirus. I will tell you
Is
when
there
you're,
one?
Yeah, I'll send you
I
there.
know.
You'll love it. Dan.
Is it also like the weather radar? So
Yeah,
you can see
it's like
see the-
it basically tracks the virus. I will send you there as soon as you wrap up this weather.
Okay. Well, and then later in the week, the temperature is going to drop close to freezing on Wednesday and then climb back up. Seasonal for Toronto this time of year, Toronto, Hamilton, around 4 degrees. So we'll be around 6 to 7 degrees by the end of the week. And some sunshine on Saturday, it looks like, with cooler temperatures on the way for the weekend.
All right, man. You're the greatest.
All right. Okay. It's been awesome.
It's been what?
It's been awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, you're right. Listen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know you've really you got your. Dan's doing some woodworking where he was.
Really?
Yeah, he's doing some things where he's like trying to create Trump's head.
Oh, on his banister?
Yeah, out of a
No.
stump.
Oh, right. Oh.
Yeah.
A little
Stumps
carving.
in the
Dan's
tree.
doing. I don't know if you guys know this. Dan's a stump carver. And
my
by the way,
chainsaw
not to be
out.
confused with Stump Carver, one of the backup goalies for the '67 Leafs.
Plus, Trump
Yeah.
on the weekend, you know, the casual look Trump, he's always got the hat on.
Yeah.
He's just like such a Dorcas because the panel on the hat has to be so huge to
Yeah.
have, so you can read "Keep America Great." He just looks like such a doofus.
No.
And then he's standing back, and when scientists are talking, he's shaking his head like he knows.
You know science.
Yeah,
He's got a good hunch
I know
about
it's
it.
interesting.
Dan, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, guys. Have yourself a. Don't argue too much.
Oh,
Just,
no.
You know, it's a Monday morning. Positive.
We're not
thoughts
arguing.
for
We're
this
not
day.
arguing. Fred's just trying to get me like on board with the virus. I'm taking too casual
Yeah.
too
He's baiting
casual
you.
approach.
He's baiting you. He wants to
No,
get
he's
you going.
virus baiting me. Listen, man. I know
No,
what he goes through.
I'm just a little more concerned than Howard is. And usually I don't get concerned over these things. But
I know
this
you
one's
don't.
creeping me out a bit.
Well, you listen. Yeah, that's why Fred watched 19 hours of Narcos Mexico this weekend.
Yes, I did.
Because he's trying to incubate himself against the virus. Before you go, worldometers.info/coronavirus. Last updated today. Coronavirus cases around the world, 111,000. Deaths, 3,882. Recovered, 62,000. It shows you active cases, closed cases, by graph, by country, by age.
What's the point of that?
Just to keep track, see where the virus is at. And 3 deaths out of 3,000 deaths. That's people. Those are human beings. Nothing to laugh about.
No. And
All I'm
way more
saying-
people will die of the natural flu this year. Way more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In Canada, I've mentioned this before. I think it averages 3,500 in the States. The regular virus will kill about 60,000 people.
But see, we can't be like Trump here. We can't play scientists. Scientists are concerned about this strain. That's what has me concerned. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, natural flu, but they're familiar with those strains of flu. This one, they're not. And that concerns me a bit.
Okay.
That's all.
Well, listen. If you're concerned, I'm going to be concerned too. Dan,
They said the...
Yes.
we have to dismiss you now.
All right.
See ya.
I'll
Bye,
head
Dan.
on with my day.
I love you, Dan.
Love you too, guys.
Okay, man.
They said the barrel of oil is going to go down to about $35 this week.
Yeah, with 31 last night.
Was it last night?
I think it was for
And
Brent
what was
Crude.
it at?
It'll take a couple of days to hit the pumps. We'll be paying like 90 cents for a liter. Love that coronavirus.
But the dollar's down an entire penny. It's like, dear.
Okay.
Within the
So here we go to
Well,
Canada.
don't travel to the States.
what can you do?
So total cases by country. Obviously, China the most with 80,739. Canada. Total cases, Canada 67. New cases 1. Total deaths in Canada 0.
Which might turn to 1 at some point, unfortunately.
Total recovered 8 so far. Active cases 59. Total cases, this is a great statistic. Total cases per 1 million population, Canada 1.8. And let's look at the US of A, that statistic. Total cases per 1 million population 1.7. But you know what? You've now got me alarmed enough.
But they have way more than 10 times the cases than
They do.
us.
So this is a
Yeah.
per capita
it's
thing
per
based on
1
our
million
population.
population.
Yeah.
So the
Right.
U.S. has 554 cases, but based on their population, it's still only 1.7 per 1 million population.
Oh.
So your chances of getting infected
I'm
is
not making it up.
0.000.
Oh, no. And I had just heard the United States had way more than 500 cases.
Well, this was as of today, Monday, March 9th. This isn't like a
Okay, well, I don't, yeah. Can't argue
last
with the stats.
updated 11:20 GMT, which is I don't know what that is right now off the top of my head. Anyway, listen, if you want me to, I can get on board with. Richard Surratt. Is it going to be? Is it Wednesday? He's coming back.
I believe later this week for sure. That's
Surratt's coming back. I think it's a Wednesday. So we'll ask Surratt. How worried should we be?
Well, yeah. And, within the country is one thing. It's internationally is another, how it affects so much. Like, would you travel to Italy right now?
Well, that's the thing. Why? You ask a good question.
Yeah.
Why Italy? Why? So China leads with 80,000, but after that, so take them out of the equation. The next three most infested countries. Can you say infested? No.
Infected.
Infected.
Infested.
South Korea. Well, no. I'm just. I'm asking.
Bed bugs.
South Korea, Italy, and Iran, all around 7,000 total cases. And when it comes to total cases per 1 million in the population, those countries like Italy is 122 per 1 million, and we're at like 1.7.
And when they ask scientists why is that and they don't have an answer, that's concerning to me. Like, why is it? What is it about that environment? What took place there to create that?
Well, one theory
Why
goes,
could that not happen here?
One theory goes that it was that the WHO, the World Health Organization, said, well, you shouldn't close your borders because of this. And so what Italy did was they closed their borders to all Chinese flights and so on and so forth. So what happened was the WHO basically said, if you don't have a way to track these guys down, they're more likely to spread this because you don't know if they come through your borders.
Right.
And in Italy's case, there were folks that were sneaking away to France, and like Chinese folks mainly, people from Wuhan were bragging about sneaking into Nice in France, and they somehow managed to get to Italy. And there you go.
Well, okay.
No Italian watch, unfortunately. Meanwhile, in Canada, we didn't, close our borders to anyone. We made sure that we asked the right questions. We checked up on people. This happens.
Like
1.7.
there's some
Are people being tested at the airport?
They are being asked. So we were asked, my wife and I. And then my wife, before she left, was asked again. Did you go to China? Did you go to South Korea?
Oh.
Did you go to,
And here's a curiosity.
said no.
Why, like South Africa,
Yes.
the African continent in general,
There's nothing.
it's almost non-existent. Now, one of the theories, I suppose, is that there's less international travel.
Yes. Fewer flights. Farther
in
away.
and out. But South Africa only has 3 total cases.
What about near the equator? What about Central America? Because they're saying maybe with the heat. Same with Mexico, there wasn't a lot.
Like
Cambodia.
Ecuador? Are
Yeah.
you talking about Ecuador?
Yeah.
15 cases.
In Cambodia.
Saudi Arabia,
Oh, yes.
15 cases. Sorry, Phil, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying in Cambodia, they now have 0 cases. They had 1 case that recovered, but the Prime Minister's like, they can't stand Cambodian heat, this virus,
I'll tell you where I'm going. I'm going to go to Togo.
Ooh.
Togo has 1 case. Togo's good people. Colombia, only 1 case.
Yeah.
Well, when tomorrow night or whatever, like the Leafs play at the ACC. I wonder if there will be empty seats. You know what I mean? What would it take for people not to go to a Leaf game?
Yeah.
Is this it?
Just one. This would be the year the Leafs come from nowhere
Yeah,
to win the cup, and no one will be there.
Nobody in the stands.
That's right. That's the twist.
No,
The
it's
Leafs got coroned.
yeah. It's a great balance of unknown and hysteria and
Yes.
social media overload and where do we draw the line?
Why are people stocking up on toilet paper and water?
Well, that's just silly.
No, I'm just.
I don't know.
I don't have
I
an
don't
answer.
know.
Are they afraid are we gonna run out of toilet paper and water?
Probably not.
So what is the thinking there? The supply chain, or the fact that you won't be able to leave your house?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Like if toilet paper is, what are some of the products made in China that you could see in a couple of months from now they are no longer available for whatever reason? Is that why people are?
But not toilet paper, though. I'm
No,
thinking
I know.
like computers, car parts that need to be reassembled here.
So
that
why
sort of
would you
thing.
load up on toilet paper?
Hysteria, mainly. Because toilet paper is made locally, usually.
No, but what do you think's going to happen that you need to stock up on toilet paper?
Maybe a forced quarantine.
Oh.
Maybe we're being told, like, maybe the southern Ontario region must stay home for 14 days. But do you need 3 years of toilet paper?
No. All you need is a shower head that comes off. And
Or as they
one of those wands.
around the equator, they use the butt gun.
All you need is one of those
Well, the shower
wands.
heads that
Yeah,
go
yeah.
off, yeah. Then you can just spray your hoop.
That's right.
Pulsating.
In this
And
time,
usually
of,
they're right beside the toilet.
in this time of desperation, wash your hoop, use a towel, go old school. We're really one of the. I heard a comedian from the Middle East talk about how backwards North Americans are when it comes to their behinds. The Japanese are light years away from us, ahead of us when it comes to, washing your bum. And this person from the Middle East was like, I can't believe you guys still wipe your asses like most, like
As opposed to what?
bidets
Bidet.
and
Straight up the bum
spray.
stuff.
What you're talking about.
Yeah.
Just washing it.
Yeah, but that only
washing it.
happens once a day.
Yeah, but like the way he described it is really funny. He's talking about. He's like, how dirty is it? You're wiping it with paper.
No, but okay. But the thing is how you have to be, if you have a bidet, you have to be home. You have to be having
For
your
a
shit
home
done.
base.
Yeah. But see, what if I have to go here? We don't have a bidet.
Yeah, but in in Japan,
Are there bidets
apparent-
everywhere?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
The way the toilets are built in Japan,
Even
they
in
all
public washrooms?
Thailand as well. It's an add-on.
They're not even
Yeah.
bidets. They're just the way the toilets are built. They shoot water into your
bum.
bahoom, and then do they dry them?
There's a hair dryer accessory down there, so they'll dry your bum as well.
I just think it's the technology. It's like, why are we so behind when it comes to the behind?
They have it in Thailand. I was just there.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, but like
It's lovely.
common?
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
cleans itself. So if you press clean, it'll just do its
I'm
own
saying,
thing.
like,
Yeah.
we
That's
think
good.
we figured it out over here, but apparently this is Japan. That's where it's at. How are they doing with the virus?
Shocking fact. Shocking fact. Japan ran out of toilet paper before anyone else because people were worried that
Japan.
somehow your stool will spread the virus. So they're thinking maybe we shouldn't use our
well,
bidets.
your stool can spread the virus.
That's very true. But will the bidets
You
spread?
got to watch where you put
Yeah.
where that is. Yeah.
Whoa, whoa.
Yeah, I've never used a bidet. Have you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
no.
had one in the place on Meadowood.
So what happens? Explain to me what happens.
Well, just
So
like
you have
you
the
can
toilet,
imagine.
and beside it, it sort of looks like a toilet. So it has
Yeah.
a toilet seat.
Yeah. Well, no, it's like a mini bathtub,
Do you? Okay. So what do you
and
do?
you squat over it.
Oh, you don't sit. You
well,
squat.
I think you sort of half sit squat.
Right, but the modern toilet bidets with the machinery, you can sit.
Well, the ones in Japan that we're talking about, you don't. They're toilets that have a bidet feature.
Yes, you can sit there,
But
but
what
a normal traditional bidet. Like
What
a
I had
European
was a bidet next to the toilet, so
Yes.
you would get off the toilet, then you would go to the bidet, and
And?
that would wash out that area.
yeah, but how? Like
With water.
Yeah, but squat.
Sort of, yeah.
Because I say in a sitting position, your butt cheeks are sort of closer together than in a squatting position.
Right.
So when one wipes, one leans and spreads the cheeks, which allows access. But if I'm just sitting and the water's spraying up, how is it gaining access to my actual rim?
The hose moves.
Why did this just became like a DIY on how to how to use a bidet
No,
from
seriously.
someone that's never used it? It's pretty funny.
So I can understand squatting over it because
Yeah.
your butt cheeks would be
yeah.
apart.
Yes.
Now, to be
And
honest,
this would allow access for the water.
our kids were really young when we lived in that house, so I ended up using it I basically used it as a baby bathtub.
No.
Yeah, because you could just fill it up with water.
Well, it's
You
like a
just
tiny
wash
sink.
the baby up. It's like a tiny little sink.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's good.
I thought you were going to say I used it as a drinking fountain.
Yes, that's
low
what
enough.
I did too. I'm
Just
like,
hit the old thing. And
anyway, we're stocking up on toilet paper
For no reason.
and water.
I'd like to
And-
try one.
You should. Oh, you would fall in love. You
Stop-
would. You would
stop it.
love it, especially what's going on with you these days. Dirty.
But
Well, should we do? Can we do one of these before we?
what are we doing? Yes, right. Okay.
Yeah, come on. Can we just get some work done here?
I'm gonna go on YouTube and a bidet how to.
Yes. Oh, go search for Toto.
Just whatever. Don't listen.
Seriously, that's the
Yeah.
brand.
Definitely don't search it on YouPorn.
No. Hello, Toto.
Toto.
Oh.
The retirement Sherpa, ladies and gentlemen, will be here again this week. Good man.
Yes, he will. I think did he ask for Thursday this week? He may be in. I think I saw some correspondence. Doesn't matter. We look forward to it anyway. Tim, Tim Niblett is a portfolio manager. Raymond James, a member of the Canadian Investors Protection Fund. He was in last week. Of course, the talk, like it has been this morning, the coronavirus and its effects on the economy and investing and stocks and bonds and all those things affected by something like this. And I'm sure there will be a further update this week. The Retirement Sherpa, he's got all the answers. The retirementsherpa.ca is where to get a hold of him, like many Humble and Fred listeners have. retirementsherpa.ca.
All right, good people, don't forget to go to stickeru.com. That's how you order stickers anywhere in the world, and it comes to you. Now a great, maybe you get a sticker that says Corona aware, or was there like mark safe for Corona? I don't know where this is all headed. StickerU.com. Excitable Swiss guy wrote me a note, or wrote us a note, says when you advertise Sticker U, don't forget to mention they still have a pop-up store at the Square One Mall in Mississauga. Thank you, Excitable Swiss. Yes, they do. They also have a store, a permanent exhibition, sticker art exhibition at their flagship store, 677 Queen West. StickerU.com. Order a sticker. Get it delivered. Design it yourself. Seriously, go check this out for us, all right? StickerU.com. I had a Humble and Fred listener reach out to me on Saturday when I was in Niagara Falls at the Yuck Yucks, and I got him in. His name is Greg. I'll make sure I get his name right. He's a very nice person. His name is Greg Stogren, and Greg and his lovely, I believe it was his wife, came to the show, got them some tickets. That was the first show Saturday. And that was like an okay show for me. I did all right.
Yeah.
And then I saw him after the show. It was like a nice, pleasant exchange. Everything seemed
nice.
fine. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
It's very nice to have nice people reach out.
And come and support you.
Yep, it was very, very nice. Thanks to Greg. Also, you know, it's funny. We had been talking about Sonny and Hayes last week, and then I saw this note, and it wasn't until you told me this morning. I'm like, who's that from? Because I didn't recognize the last name. Do you want to read that? That seemed like a very nice thing that somebody would say to us.
What's the show? Sonny and Matt? Or Matt and Sonny?
Sonny and Hayes.
Oh, Sonny and Hayes, right.
You mean the one I just said?
Yeah, the one you just
Yeah.
said.
Sonny and Matty.
Starring Matt and Matt.
It's Matt Hayes. I'm sorry. It's Matt Hayes. Sonny and Hayes. Right. Hi, guys. I was at my gym this morning, and one of the instructors, believe it or not, her name is Zena, is a big fan of you guys, and she told me you gave Matt and I a shutout. She said your words were very complimentary. I have been a longtime fan of you guys, so her telling me that made my day. You made my week, guys.
Aww.
Sonny Janesco.
There you go.
Of Sonny and Matt. Matt
You know,
Hayes.
Matty and Sonny. What's the name of that show? Sonny and Hayes. Come on, you guys. Anyway, I was very, when I read that, I'm like, wow, that's a very nice thing to say. I had no idea who it was because I didn't know that Sonny of Sonny and Hayes is Sonny Janesco. And the fact that Zena is also a big fan of ours is also very encouraging. I don't know what for. It's encouraging that people still are discovering the Humble and Fred show now in its 4th decade.
It takes 90s legends to
What?
listen to 90s legends.
What are we going to have to do?
Well, you look at Sonny Janesco, an institution there in Hamilton.
Yeah.
You'd never think for a second that she would be a fan of ours, or she'd even know of us, to be honest. But to be a big fan of ours, of course, that's reassuring for us.
Oh, yeah. It's reassuring now. It's great. Yeah, we're just, we're picking them
we
up.
hang on to anything like this.
Xena, warrior listener.
All right. Well, listen, we got to take a break. We're keeping track of the virus.
Latest bulletin from CNN. Stock markets falling around the world.
Yeah, man.
Super. Great. Super. I think I'll just fly to Italy and
Suck
end
down
End
some
it all.
pasta. And then just start.
end it all.
Yeah, just start licking railings.
Take me out of this.
Hello, Lombardi.
That's right. Wow. What happened to Fred? I don't know. He just couldn't handle it anymore. He just went over to Italy and started licking banisters. What? Why is that man licking all the tables? He wants the virus. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. Maybe this isn't the part that Sonny's a fan of. No. Not this part. The good parts. Yeah. It's Humble and Fred Radio.
Love is but a song we sing. Fears the way we die.
Come on, people, now. Come on.
You can make the mountains ring.
If we still have mountains. It's apparently, I was looking, we're on Facebook Live, by the way, as well as Twitch TV. And apparently that last segment was a big hit with the kids. Here's somebody says, "Oh my God, that was the best segment. Lol. Only on Humble and Fred." Someone else said, "Mark."
The Sonny Janesco thing?
I don't know.
Oh.
Who knows?
Probably the Matt Hayes
The
thing.
Matt thing.
My
Play
favorite
on
part,
names.
My favorite part of that, though, is like, I'm like, "Hey, Sonny from Sonny and Hayes." And you're like, "Yeah, from Matt and Sonny."
Right, yeah.
You know, only us, only you and I could take like something positive and turn it into something weird, not negative. Not the negative.
I guess it's my age, I guess, because I was thinking, what's his first name? What's his first name? And anyway, I got it.
Listen,
I just got the name of the show wrong through that.
You know what I watched last night? I've been watching NBC out of Buffalo, watching the golf in the afternoon, and I also want to mention a Canadian who was, this was a Golf Channel thing, was David Moreland, who's a Canadian from Toronto, longtime PGA Tour player. Now got a start on the PGA Tour Champions, the senior tour for 50 and over, and there he was on TV playing with Ernie Els, and it was cool because I was texting him throughout the weekend, wishing him the best and good luck and everything, and it was just kind of neat for me watching him, like Ernie Els tees off, and then there David Moreland, a guy I've known for like 30 years, and he finished in a tie for 7th. But
Nice.
on the first round, he set, he was one off the course record shot, 61. Oh. In like on television. It was cool. Anyway, so I had the NBC on by later in the evening. I turned it on, and there was this show, American Idol.
Yeah, Dahl watched it.
First time I've seen it in a long time.
Yes.
And it's just the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, do you know? I didn't know who the judges were, but I can tell you that Katy Perry's, she's taken over the Paula Abdul role of being just a crazy. She's crazy.
Yeah. Who are the panelists? I don't know.
Lionel Richie, Katy Perry, and country guy Luke. Luke something.
Luke Brown.
He's on the Sonny and Hayes show. He's
Luke
Sonny and Matt.
Luke Bryan.
Get it right.
Bryan. I didn't know he's a country guy, right?
Yeah, he's pretty big.
Yeah. But the show is exactly this. I watched it for about a half an hour. The kids still come in and they sing and they do the hokey stuff about, you know, the backstories. And
Luke Brown's pretty good. I would have been more impressive if it had been Luke Perry. But
The ghost of Luke
That'd
Perry.
be tough.
why is Luke Perry dead?
yeah, he last year.
Okay. Did the corona get him?
That was. Yeah, he was. Yeah. Yeah, they should. Yeah, I don't know.
He did a morning show.
He did. He did Luke and Matt and Sonny. Sonny, Matt, and Luke.
But then again, look at the first winner of American Idol, Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah.
She's gone on to, now she's got her own
Yeah, dude, that was
talk
20
show
years
and
ago.
no, but she's got her own talk show and
I
stuff
know.
now.
Isn't she on
Crazy
the-
stuff?
No, I know, but that's.
She's on The Voice now, I think.
I believe so. Yeah.
But what's your point? That
No,
people who are American Idol are successful?
Well, the first one was.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
not-
No, I get that part.
That's
No, I'm
my
just
only
saying
point.
it's weird. The show is continuing. I don't know what kind of numbers it gets, but I hadn't seen it honestly in. I couldn't tell you. Maybe a decade. I didn't know who the Lionel like. It's like this format that just continues in the same hokey way. It's just amazing.
We were scrolling through after watching 60 Minutes last night. It was 8 o'clock, and we're scrolling through, and Dilly said, "Oh, American Idol," and I said, "There you go, darling." I hit it, and I left the room.
Yeah.
I don't have patience for those shows anymore. I don't.
But do you watch
For that reason.
I haven't seen an episode of The Voice or The Masked Singer.
No.
I don't know
I
any
don't
of those
watch
shows. I know that The Voice has got the guy from Maroon 5 on. He's been on
Adam
there for years.
Levine.
Adam Levine.
Yeah.
Miley Cyrus.
But she's on there now?
Really?
She was on there.
All
Maybe
right.
She's not anymore.
Anyway, yeah, Katy Perry just comes off as super crazy. Like that. I did a half an hour of the show, and every time I'm like, oh, she's trying to be like the crazy Paula Abdul kind of fun, crazy.
Well, you know what it is. It's not so much ratings anymore. It's production costs, too. It's a fine balance.
Yeah.
Because network television. Like, you mentioned it. I watched Narcos Mexico. Like,
yes.
How do regular networks compete with that? You could never put that on regular network television. There's so much great stuff not on network television that really couldn't be on network television because of language, violence, subject matter, whatever. The only way they can respond is with this stuff, with this reality TV, this, product. It doesn't cost a lot, and it gets some numbers.
They're competing against us because the networks have to somehow bring you in, but you paid money to watch Narcos, right? You paid money for your internet. So you're willing to give that sort of investment there, but not ads on TV anymore.
Well, the content's just better.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to sit and watch The Good Doctor and commercials every few minutes. I guess you can record them.
When Bill Brio was here last week, he did mention a couple of network television shows. Transplant, I think, was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I saw some of the adverts for some of those shows, and I agree with you. I've said it myself. When you can watch the best television ever produced with swear words and adult content, how does regular shows compete? But there's lots of talk shows, like you just said. What's Her Face has a talk show.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, Kelly Clarkson.
Ellen's very popular.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's no shortage of these. I think somebody brought the point up last week. Is American Idol, is that a reality show? Whatever you want to call them, there's no shortage of them because, again, it's programming that's not on the type of thing that's not on Netflix, and it's cheaper to produce.
But even Netflix, there's, when it started as a movie service, you could never imagine how it's, blossomed into your own personalized network. Because, one of the things is, I don't know if, have you ever seen somebody else's Netflix? Like, when Charlie was visiting, because I'm on my television, it's got Howard's profile, Charlie Spencer.
Right.
And seeing somebody else's, like, it's like a whole other world. And you don't realize, because yours is so personalized, how personal it is to other people. Like,
what interests you. And
exactly. I've got a lot of mine is stand-up comedy, documentaries, not as many movies as you think, because I watch a lot of movies on our Plex. But you know what I mean? Like, and I'm sure yours would be different. I mean, we would have some in common, I'm sure, but it's funny how personalized it is, and that's also the problem with network television. It's like, imagine your playlist versus a radio station.
Yeah.
Well, Netflix is your sort of video entertainment playlist.
No, good point. That's true. And going forward, where do they go? It'll be like sitting here 10 years from now. Will we? What that landscape, regular network television, what that landscape will look like, it's like, I can't imagine.
Well, let's give Alan Cross credit for this. 10 years ago, he said that radio has become an unprogrammable, it's like an unprogrammable iPod. And that's what network television is. It's like, we no longer need them to tell us what's coming up next. Because I know what's coming up next. I'm going to watch Narcos.
Right.
Because you liked it. And then coming up next is this documentary on the Dirty Money thing I liked. And then, this David Chang cooking thing I like. You know what I mean? That's what's coming up next.
Not to get too involved here, but it's second season of Island of Brian Baumler and his wife. This resort down in the Bahamas, they're reconditioning and they're going to reopen. I think it already has. But if I'm on my Rogers Ignite and I say Island of Brian, it'll take me to the latest episode. But if I watch it, I can speed through the show. But as soon as the commercials come on, it shuts. Like, I can't do.
You can't fast forward anymore
through the commercials, which is very interesting. I mean, that's a desperate attempt to tell clients that under this format they have to watch your commercials.
Right.
But to get around that, if I record it on my own, right?
Like PVR it, I
can scroll through the commercials.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And again, that's just the convenience of saying the name of the show. But the way it's formatted to me in my living room, that way I have to watch the commercials. It's so what am I thinking? What did I say last night? I said to Delise, we're not going to watch it this way. I am going to record it.
Of course.
Well, I think that's how it's all headed, though, too. It's just all the technology is changing. There's no reason to have scheduled time to sit down at your TV.
No,
I can watch it on your phone.
Yeah.
I can watch it on my computer.
Well, that's what
I
was saying. No, the first of all, we go way back when you could record your shows on VHS. That's right. That began time shifting.
Yes.
Because then you were in charge of when you wanted to watch your program. Sopranos may be on, at 9 o'clock Sunday night, but you're going to watch it when it's convenient. And then the the PVRs and all that. And then, now we're at the point where with all the services, Amazon and Crave and Netflix and Disney and all that stuff, you basically are kind of your own network head, and you're still watching that show on we'll call it a regular television service, but you can also control the commercial content.
But that's why I think this is going to change, though, too, because look at the kids right now that haven't planned and have never had to do the TV scheduling and finding their shows. They're just stuck on YouTube now. They don't even watch a show anymore.
Well, at these networks now, Canadian and American, when they sit down and they talk to potential advertisers, what are those conversations like? The network might say it's $1 million a minute or whatever on this show, and I'm the buyer. I go, well, how do I know who's going to see this commercial now? There's no way of. How do you monitor that?
I don't know. I don't know who their demographic is. Sean makes a good point about, at a certain age cutoff, whether it's 35 or under, 30, whatever. There's Mark Jordan. Come on, can you guys go get Mark? At a certain point, no one's watching that at all. Like a certain demographic. Mm-hmm. Like I watched that bit of American Idol last night, including the commercials. Mm-hmm. I didn't watch. I would just literally mute the commercials and go back on my phone. But at a certain demographic cutoff, you're not getting anybody under a certain age. Like you might get you and me and our age group all might watch it, fine. Right. But how do you get a 28-year-old?
Back in the 70s, 80s, and I don't know when the change started, but back in the 70s, again, you talk about that. The network sets the price, the buyer pays the price, knowing that that commercial is going to be seen because there's no other way. There's no way around it.
Right.
I mean, you knew when you bought that time, that commercial was going to be seen by, 100% of the audience or 99%, whatever that may be. Now that's all out the window. There's no way of telling how many people are going to see my commercial because of technology. Yeah. So how do you set prices? How do you pitch?
How do you make people use your service? Yeah. And in the Bell example, at least they're trying. They've got the Crave. They've got services that aren't necessarily a TV signal, right?
Just a quick, to change this up very quickly. Sean, does Mr. Jordan need anything? Does he want to tune? Does he want to get water? Have you offered any? Do you want nuts? We have
coffee.
Cashews, coffee. We have cashews. We have almonds.
Pecans.
We have a pecan.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
we get and do you want to go? Do you want to tune downstairs? Do you need to tune? Is there tuning?
Yeah, actually.
Okay, and Sean, also we need microphones that will be pointed at guitars. And Mark Jordan performing in the next 15 minutes. He's brought his guitar, which I love.
We may want to revisit this nut thing. Who's sticking their hands in that nut jar other than me, us guys?
Probably
we don't know.
Well, so far it's just us because our guests haven't been showing up.
Phil.
Has there been any Italians in here lately?
We need to create a Corona perimeter.
Yes.
Well, you need to be more Corona conscious. Also trademarked, Humble Howard. Corona conscious. What was my other one this morning? Corona.
Way before Corona. Something like that.
Cool. Yeah.
Cool before Corona.
He was Corona before it was cool.
And the whole wash your hands thing too that's taken hold. It's like how often, when, like you go to the washroom, you wash your hands, and are you just supposed to be conscious of this all day long, like continuously wash your hands?
Yeah.
Basically. Like outside of before
Washroom breaks,
before you eat, washroom breaks. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Do they mean in between as
Remember
well?
when people used to do that? My parents would, you were a kid, you were like told to go wash your hands before you eat.
Yes.
Most people don't do that.
No.
Like you go to a restaurant, it's not like, okay, I'll be right back. Do you have your wash basin for my hands?
And sometimes the washrooms are worse. You're better off not.
Yeah.
Especially the restaurants I go to. The washrooms are always like downstairs in some long forgotten storage area. Mm-hmm. Well, that's where they've got the washroom, but they've also got the paper towels, which I always I'm told just before sometimes I'm like, should I steal that? I mean, it's here.
You talk about network television last night, Sportsnet, hometown hockey, the hockey broadcast last night, I think Calgary and the Vegas Golden Knights. It was an all-female broadcast crew.
Yes.
In recognition of International Women's Day, which fell on a Sunday this year. So it's an actual date, I guess, eh?
Yeah.
March, what was yesterday?
March 8th. Yep.
Mike Boone made a point, did I watch the game last night? No, I did not. I had heard this was happening.
Yeah, they were promoting it on the NBC golf broadcast all afternoon. They're very, very interesting.
Were they?
Yes, they were.
That this was happening in Canada?
No, that was because the NBC was broadcasting that game last night.
Oh, right. They hooked into the Sportsnet
so
feed.
Because of the International Women's Day tie-in, I had actually written that down before I saw the Boone note. Boone's our producer, if you don't know, because I thought we should at least get some audio. Sean, that's what we need before the end of the show. Let's get some audio.
But isn't it a funny? So that would almost be like we're handling it like a novelty. Isn't the idea to just take it in stride as fellow professionals?
No, but it was a novelty.
Yeah, I guess, eh?
Yeah, the day's a novelty, right?
Well, and it's funny. I'd written down International Women's Day, and it's funny how it's now the thing to do for men to show a picture of all the women in their lives, recognizing how much of an impact they've had on the men's life, which is great. I appreciate that. But that's kind of like the thing you do now.
Is it?
I think.
Okay.
You see that a lot on the social medias, where you know what I'm talking about, Phil.
I did that on Twitter.
Of course you did.
Pearl.
That's fine.
Yeah. I spent the whole day with my woman yesterday, and not once did I say Happy International Women's Day, or did it come up in conversation?
Same with me. I was corresponding with all the women in my life yesterday, and I've forgotten. Sorry, I didn't do any of my International Women's Day shopping. None of that was done.
No.
And
it hasn't come to that, has it? No.
But then I did note that NBC was promoting the all-female. I mean, it wasn't just play-by-play. It was every analyst. It was all the interviews.
Cassie Campbell, and I forget who else was on the...
And we'll get some audio from that. Actually, can we do that, Sean?
But I'm sort of proud of myself because I knew it, but I didn't go to it to like, I got to see what this is like. I just thought, that's cool. Because all those women have done broadcasting on some level.
Yeah.
So I wasn't attracted to it like, I want to see this thing or hear this thing.
Right.
But I get your point. It's not as novel as it was. Like, I remember they made a big deal, like back in the late 70s on like Monday Night Football or the early 80s when the first sideline, female reporter, or when they made a big deal about having females into the locker room. Like, this is the era we came from.
If I knew nothing about last night and just happened to tune it in, how long would it take me to go, these are all females doing this? I wonder if I'd catch on. And again, I don't have an answer for it. Would I catch on immediately?
I think.
Or would it be a while? Yeah.
I think you would.
Well, but the problem is with hockey, you're so used to hearing, because Cassie Campbell, she's a Saturday night analyst with, like every Saturday night, like a color person. So the point is, you tune in a hockey game, you're used to hearing, in Canada, you're used to hearing female voices now. How long would it take to tune in that they're all female? Well, that would have been an interest. I would have liked to have been in that position.
So why don't we get some audio from it? Because I think it'll sound. I was interested to hear just from hearing somebody do the play-by-play. Because you're right.
Yeah.
On almost all golf broadcasts, there's always been a female.
Yeah.
Analyst or commentator, and so it's very commonplace, but not a female lead.
No.
Not a female doing the sort of major.
Right.
What would I tell you? What where it would be novel was a baseball game.
Yeah.
Hearing a woman do the play-by-play on baseball, I think would be interesting. Thank you. This is the new one? Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, let's talk about the chamber plan, my friend. Mark Jordan's coming in here on a beautiful sunny Monday in March. Hard to believe the world's in crisis on such a lovely, soon-to-be spring day. We all sprung forward yesterday. You know, that'd be our top story in many other years.
Hey, do as so many other Hummel and Fred listeners have done. Go to chamberplan.ca, find out how your small business can have employee benefits. That's right. The Chambers Plan is Canada's leading group benefit plan for small firms. Oh yeah, group insurance and employee benefits enjoyed by 30,000 Canadian businesses. They've been around for over 40 years. It really is doable for your small business. Go to chamberplan.ca and get a free quote. It's very simple to become part of this. It's stable because of the numbers I just provided, and it is smart because your employees, they will love you so much for doing this for them. chamberplan.ca.
All right, the way to get around this world, if you ever travel again, is, of course, the Gig Sky. Gig Sky, Phil.
Sky.
Gig Sky. Wherever you want to travel, whichever eSIM-enabled device you have, and there are many, you can use them. If you don't have an eSIM-enabled phone, go to our website and get the Gig Sky plastic SIM for free. Just put it in your phone. It's very simple. Or the Gig Sky mobile hotspot. You know, Dave White uses it, you use it, I use it, Rachel's used it. Specifically for our listeners, we have a promo code when making your data plan purchase of 20 or more. Use the code HF500 for a $5 discount on your purchase. Gig Sky. Go check it out at our website, humbleandfredradio.com. We're going to take a break here in a second or two, although looking here on Facebook, there's a guy, Mark Dovideo, who says, let me hook you up with one of my boxes, unlimited content, unlimited control. I would hook you both up for free. We say yes. Anytime a listener wants to hook us up with anything for free, we are yesing to that.
What's he hooking us up with?
Some kind of box.
And what does it do?
I don't know, but it's going to be free.
And it's unlimited.
It's unlimited free.
Box.
So Mark, Humble and Fred, Humble and Fred at humbleandfredradio.com. Hook us up. Whatever, just send us a box.
Unlimited.
Hook us up with unlimited control of our boxes.
We don't care if it's a shoe box, if it's free.
That's right.
Mark, come on in.
Pizza box, shoe box.
It's a wooden box. No,
Humble and Fred at humbleandfredradio.com is where you get a hold of us on the down low for free stuff. Give us control of our boxes. Give us free stuff. Control. All right, is Mark Jordan down there? He's getting all... This is crazy, Mark. I just saw him in concert, and now he's here. When's the last time Mark was here, Phil?
A few months ago. Lovely, lovely.
So, yeah, he's a lovely guy, and he came in here to hang out with us. So why don't we take a break?
Let's do that.
It's Humble and Fred Radio, and, of course... Oh, there we go. Humble and Fred Radio. You can check us out on Canada's Comedy Superstation. I wonder if they still know we're on. And of course, you can get us anywhere you want at humbleandfredradio.com.
jangle, falling snow.
I know you're thinking, why is he playing a Christmas song now? Well, because I want to. That's why.
Even though
I love this song.
I can't recall where we first met.
You know, I started in radio as 1977, kind of around the same time as you. And at that time, it was about 7 or 8 years into CanCon. And in the early 70s, there were a lot of badly produced Canadian records. The industry hadn't caught up. But by the late 70s, it was like an explosion of great, internationally world-class Canadian music being done. And it was my first exposure to our guest this morning. And I remember hearing one of his early hits for the first time, and I know this is going to sound ridiculous, but you're like, oh, is that a Canadian? Like, almost like, this is too good. And here we are years later. He's become like a regular drop-in guest on the program. Welcome back, Mark Jordan.
Hey.
Mark Jordan.
Mark Hayes.
Mark Jordan.
Mark Jordan. By the way, before the show, let me tell you about how I got the name of my girlfriend wrong.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Like,
Good
that was
move.
awesome. That was a great moment.
Good.
Marcus Jordan. Wow. And welcome. We're all hunkered down. We appreciate you coming out, you know. We're all Corona conscious now.
That's right.
How are you, man?
I'm good. It's good to be out.
Yes. Good to be away. We're just
Spreading the germs.
the virus of love is what we're spreading.
Did any part of you think twice about coming this morning because of the virus?
No.
Good.
Yeah, it's like a lot of things, you know.
Yeah.
People, if they, you know, as we all know from being human beings, everything has its own momentum.
Yeah.
And you were saying, Fred, when you went to Mexico, we were just sort of joking about the virus at the end of January.
Yeah.
Fred went on the plane, took a picture of himself wearing a mask, and it was all kind of cute.
Yeah. A week before I left Mexico, the TSX had hit like an all-time high.
Wow.
That's just like a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
Gee.
And now the bottom has fallen out. Wow. Crazy.
And that's why.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the Atlanta airport about 2 weeks ago, and I coughed.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought people were going to, like, just kill me.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's funny. I was in Phoenix and Palm Springs around the same time Freddie was in Mexico, and I came back 2 weeks ago. There was nobody on the plane with masks on. There was nobody in the Palm Springs airport, you know, seemingly so too concerned about anything. But I wonder what that's like now. And then that's the next domino to fall, is the people will stop traveling by air.
Yeah. Well, I came back to Toronto about a week ago, and it was pretty lean. And weren't a lot of people. It's
Really?
usually very crowded on that flight from Nashville, you know.
Mark's been recently nominated for another Juno Award for, is it Both Sides?
Yeah. Yeah, it's for the
Latest music offering.
Yes.
Where do you put music out these days? Does it just go straight to Spotify? Is it just digital only?
Well, we always print stuff up because CDs up because people like to buy them.
Do
at
they?
Concerts?
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, I see. Like merch.
It's sort of like merch, and then they play it in their cars on the way home.
Yeah, because that would be very few homes, I think, have CD players now, but
Yeah.
a lot of cars still do. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
You know what's
about
weird,
the
Mark, is that very few computers. Is there even a computer in our office that plays CDs? Like, I know ours
No.
don't.
The
Not
Macs
anymore.
don't.
My computer doesn't.
There's no disk drive anymore. But Mark's, it's great. I mean, after all the years you've been producing music, all the other, you know, the accolades, is it still exciting / do you care about a Juno nomination? It's got to be nice.
It's nice to be acknowledged for what you do, you know. Yeah, it's great. It's great, and I love what I do, so it's nice to be recognized.
Yeah, it's better than not being nominated, right?
Sure.
Yeah,
And you
that's
know
our
what?
thing.
It's
Yeah, we've not been nominated for many years now. And
well, me too, you know.
I may have missed it. Have you won Junos before?
I
many,
have.
many?
Oh, yeah.
And
I
where do you
have,
keep them?
They're in my office. You know.
Now, it'd be nice to have a little statuette, wouldn't it, Howard?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you love
I
a
guess.
statuette?
You know, it's so cool. There's so many artists that have covered Mark Jordan music. That song I played as we came back from break, as I said to Mark during the break, is literally my favorite sort of holiday seasonal / Christmas song. And I said it's funny that no one. It's been you put that out a few years ago. No one has covered it.
No, I don't.
And I asked you about that process because so many others, including everyone from Rod Stewart to Josh Groban to Cher, have covered your music.
Yeah.
But I guess, do you ever know, like, is it hard to predict which songs will be picked up by other artists?
It is, and I don't write for artists. I just write in my mind. I write thinking I'm going to do the song, and that's how I make it true. You know, I don't have. Some guys can write for, you know, if some, you know, if Madonna needs a song or whoever, they can write that song. But I can't do it. I just write my own songs and people pick them up. But when I started, it was all about publishers. You know, you would sign to a publisher, and then the publisher would flog the song to artists that didn't write.
But considering your relationship with some of these people in terms of them covering your music, have you ever thought of, and again, I don't want to keep harping on this particular song, but you can just imagine it on any number of formats in the Christmas genre. Have you ever thought of saying to a publisher, hey, why don't you see if anyone wants to cover Every Time It Snows?
I never have, but I always assume that somebody will hear it at some point. And I wasn't sure whether it was getting played or not, because I usually go to Los Angeles before Christmas, so I'm not usually around much. So I wasn't even aware it got play at all. So I'm happy.
Well, I dig it, man. I was telling Freddie I went to see you. When was that Glenn Gould show? Was it January? In January? Who knows?
Don't ask me.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It was sometime in the last few months, though.
Yeah.
No, I remember you talking about it even previous to today.
It was cool.
And how much you enjoyed it.
Mark's got a great band. Mark's bride, Amy Sky, performs and took tickets, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
There was Rachel and I were in the audience along with other, Murray McLaughlin was there just being cool, along with Denise Donlin. Oh, yeah.
I should take tickets at your comedy shows. That'd get me out of the house. Oh, but then I'd have to touch people. No.
I just played Yuck Yucks in Niagara Falls all weekend, and I was telling Freddie, you could just tell the audience numbers were down. The people in the streets, there was less of them. I did 5 shows, and there was only one show that was sort of I did it a year ago. That was a couple hundred people, first show Saturday. The rest, though, you could definitely see that people are staying away.
It's hard to know what to do.
Yeah.
Because the information is so varied.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many truths.
Yeah.
Well, I know one thing. I look at Fred, and when Fred starts panicking, then I'm going to start panicking.
Yeah.
Now Fred's panicking, and now I have to stop licking banisters because I was really into that.
No, yeah. Yeah. It's just when you, like South by Southwest canceled. It's when they start canceling stuff like that. It's like, what's up? What's going on here?
Exactly.
Because people don't like to lose money.
Right.
No.
People want people to show up.
Yeah.
And to your point about that, when you start to see that type of reaction, then you wonder what's really going on. Mm-hmm. But in these times, you know what? It's moments like this that will take our mind away. Mark's going to perform for us one of his earliest hits. Probably one of your biggest songs as well.
Well, for me, for sure, it was. And
did it have? And has anyone covered this song?
A couple of people.
Yeah.
In Europe.
But check this out, Freddie. 35. His songs have been on 35 million CDs. Millions of people.
Yeah.
Have covered Mark Jordan. Let me hear the guitar. Let me see. All right. Does that sound okay for you?
Yeah, as long as I can hear it, I'm good.
Can you hear it? All right.
Yeah.
Well, here's Mark Jordan, Fred, performing right here.
Fantastic.
Amazing. This is Marina Del Rey.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yeah, you know this one. Man with no story, living on the edge of history, lying face up in the sand brown body, can't see his dream dying. Yeah, I'm living in Marina Del Rey. Man, you better get a job. I'm living off the sun and the sea in Marina Del Rey. They come here from the clover to dream and drown and make money, drawn to the land of plenty. Well, baby, that's all over drinking Coca-Cola, writing their names in the sand. I smoked this shit, made me paranoid. I feel like a fish on dry land. Oh, I'm living in Marina Del Rey. Man, you better get a job. I'm living off the sun and the sea in Marina Del Rey. Oh, I'm living in Marina Del Rey. Man, you better get a job. Living off the sun and the sea in Marina Del Rey.
That's what it sounds like when somebody, a professional. That's what that was.
So easy.
That was professional. You're very, very good.
Very professional.
You know what you are? You're very professional.
Thank you.
You know, you did a very nice job.
Thank you.
And everyone enjoying it, and you came in here. Do you ever get in the middle of that song and just not, like, what's the next chord?
It's almost automatic pilot.
I was watching you, and I was thinking, like, I wonder if he ever gets to that one change and goes, what's next? How do I do this?
I've had whiteouts before.
Yeah, have you?
Not in this song, but stuff I know that I know less well or have been doing for less years.
Yeah.
Sometimes, whoa.
Well, I heard Billy Joel talk about that one day. When your catalog is so wide and you have so many songs, and again, you do a concert, you practice and all that stuff, but when often he's somewhere and somebody will say something about a certain song and he draws a blank. He doesn't know the words to the song.
Yeah.
He forgets it.
Well, if he's written, maybe he's written 1,000 songs.
Yeah.
And same with me, and it's hard.
Wait, so that's an interesting point too. Like, if you were to go out, I know now a lot of people know that Mark and Murray McLaughlin and Ian Thomas have been sort of working together for years in something called Lunch It Out.
Yeah.
And so when you guys, let's say you were about to go out on a tour for a couple months, and you're going to do a bunch of songs with them, but you're going to have to do some of your older songs, whether Rhythm of the Heart or something. Do you go and like relearn it?
No, I don't. I don't forget music very much. Like I never forget the melody for sure. And sometimes I'll struggle with an old lyric, But we always rehearse before.
No,
we
for
go
sure.
out,
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, you go. Okay, I'm going to do like Marina Del Rey.
Yeah.
And there's a change there. There's a part where I used to do it this way, and you're like, oh yeah, there it is again.
Yeah. I've listen, definitely. I've done a lot of concerts, so I've messed up tons of songs.
On both sides, which you played some of when I saw you in concert at the Glen Gould a few months ago, or it could have been last year. Neither of us know. You do a lot of jazz stuff. Was that your sort of first love before pop music? Because you do it so naturally, it seems to me.
I listened to as much Billie Holiday as I did, the Beatles, back in those days, and I always loved that. I always loved Billy and all those groups, and all those women, mostly women, that sang those songs, and they're great songs.
Because when you hear that version of Marina Del Rey, it seems almost more not natural, but it's like, oh, there's kind of how you sort of interpret it versus the pop version. I ask that because there's a song you do, "The Nearness of You."
Yeah.
I don't want to put you on the spot. I don't know if you're ready for it. No, that's not a good. That's one. Well, the funny thing is, it's one of my favorite songs of that genre.
So amazing.
Yeah.
And who could? I've never even learned it on guitar. Really, I just basically have a cursory knowledge of the chords.
Because when you do it, the band, they're all playing.
They're all playing.
Yeah, okay.
And I just sing, and they and I make all my mistakes, and I don't know if it's you notice when you're in the audience, but I have a great band, and
they're great.
They catch me when I fall.
Well, I'll tell you what. Speak with Mr. Jordan here for a second. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. Well, here we go.
What?
Here's a little bit of. Here's a little. This is Mark doing this song. It's unbelievable.
The one you just referred to.
Like a yellow balloon.
And this is from both sides.
Yes.
Which you've been nominated for.
Yes.
A Juno nomination. In which category?
Adult alternative.
All right. We just did a little intro.
Well, I wrote that intro. You're not supposed to do that, but.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Look at you.
That's interesting, the category adult alternative.
Yeah.
Because, the word alternative has really evolved over the past few years. I mean, when we were at CFNY, alternative meant one thing. Today it means something a little bit different.
I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
It's just different. Mm-hmm. And what is adult alternative? It's very, very blurry.
Listen, what is adult? I'm still waiting to grow up.
Yeah,
seriously.
exactly.
Yeah, listen to this. This is so good.
It isn't your sweet conversation.
Are you a vegetarian or do you still eat meat?
I still eat meat.
Hey, Sean, let's get a lasagna for Mark. He thinks I'm kidding. One of our sponsors, our very good friends at Palma Pasta, supply all our guests, all our special guests, with their choice of meatless or meat.
Lasagna.
Meaty.
And the homemade flavor. In moments, we're going to be getting a picture of you holding a lasagna.
That's right.
Fantastic.
And
Won't be the first time.
That's right. This will not be the first picture of Mark Jordan holding a meaty lasagna. Let's go right over here. Look at there he is. We don't have the box.
Oh,
But there's the actual lasagna. You thought we were kidding?
seems quite chilly.
Well, because it was in the freezer. So thanks.
We don't have a box.
We got to get some boxes.
Oh,
All right,
yeah,
well,
definitely.
Yeah.
That's all part of the presentation.
But there it is. A beautiful Palma Pasta
Looks
lasagna.
good.
No, it's fantastic. That's dinner tonight. See, now one less thing to worry about.
That's got the meat in it. Yeah, he wants the meat one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well,
Oh,
listen.
I get to take that?
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
you're taking it home.
Fabulous.
You say to Amy, but people don't
She's
know.
not around, so this is
Perfect. Yeah.
I can't cook.
No one can. Listen, man, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having
Mark
me.
Jordan, everybody. Sean, take Mark over there, get him some pictures. And Fred, why don't you tell us a little bit about CDN Technologies?
Yes, I will. CDN Technologies. We announced, didn't we? We've lost our boy to CDN Technologies.
Oh, yeah. Sean's going to go work there now.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. We're interviewing a new intern today. We'll see. We'll see.
So, hey, when you call CDN Technologies at 905-542-9759, who knows? In the weeks ahead, you may be talking to Sean. And if you're getting tired of waiting for your computer company to fix things, talk to cdntechnologies.com. They have the answers for slow networks. If your current team is slow, you need speedy recovery. CDN Technologies are the people to talk to. Hacked or having a data breach, if that's an issue, cdntechnologies.com. That's where to go to find out exactly how you can fix your problem. Technologies.com, where to go again, the number 905-542-9759.
And just to, if you're not lucky enough to come on our show and get a free Palma Pasta lasagna, I want you to make sure you go to palmapasta.com, Palma's Kitchen, and, of course, all the different locales of Palma Pasta, which you can now use skip the dishes.
Absolutely.
You just stay. Listen, since we're all staying at home, stay at home, but get Palma Pasta to get some pasta over to you. You will not be disappointed. As I said, Spencer brought some over. Do you have that? You have 2 minutes of the broadcast? Or 2 minutes? Well, I'll tell you what, we'll do it for the podcast extra. No, don't freak out. And maybe we'll do the sing along with Fred tomorrow for the podcast.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Because after Mark Jordan,
I want to be on the heels of Mark Jordan.
No, it's too intimidating.
On Spotify, I was going to say on Spotify, if you sort of, if you search like summer music or whatever, often yacht rock seems to be a format that they talk about. Yeah. Marina Del Rey is always on that. And I can only imagine the millions and millions and millions and millions of streams of that song through Spotify and other services. And a timeless song, I might say, too.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Well, look, that version...
No, exactly.
Like his whole concert, I mean, again, I know it's a struggle to get you out of the house, but that would have been something you really would have enjoyed. It's very low-key. His whole concert was like that. Just low-key and cool, and... I think it was like a 4 or 5 piece band. He played some guitar, but he had like a bunch of you could see awesome musicians, and just it was a nice vibe. I know, and a lot of people our age.
No, I know, and I'm just thinking maybe through this virus, if things were to go properly, maybe I can get a deal on a helicopter.
That's what what? Dude, we're at the giving out free lasagna level. We're not going from that to a free helicopter.
No, I didn't say free. Get a good deal on one.
Oh, good deal.
So I can just be airlifted into these places.
All right. What? Listen, for our podcast extra today. Oh, hold on a minute. I got some. Hold on. Podcast extra today. Some breaking news. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you very much.
Take care. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Breaking news. Here's what we're thinking. If you're listening to our show on AM 820 on the Funny, there's going to be breaking news on our podcast extra. You must go to humbleandfredradio.com for this breaking news.
Really?
Yes.
Breaking to me even?
Yes.
Okay.
Breaking news at humbleandfredradio.com, and we'll see you live on Funny 820 tomorrow. Phil.
This emergency edition of Humble and Fred Radio is brought to you by FYI Music News, The Retirement Sherpa, Gig Sky, The Chambers Plan, Palma Pasta, CDN Technologies, and our newest sponsor, Sticker You, where you can get your stickers on Queen Street or order anywhere in the world. We broadcast to the planet from the worldwide headquarters of the Humble and Fred Show. Breaking news on humbleandfredradio.com.
Breaking news. Let me get the breaking news sound effect.
Live from Etobicoke.
Live from Humble and Fred Studios. Here, breaking news. As you were talking about it, we've been talking. We've been talking about this virus all morning, and you were talking about all the implications and all the.
Yeah.
All right.
Again. I love that. The urgency in that is great.
We've been broken. The news has been broken.
So what's the breaking news?
So you were talking about we mentioned they've shut down Italy.
Yep.
All those sporting events, is it South by Southwest?
South by Southwest.
Yeah.
So the huge festival / whatever that is, conference. NBA talking about
no fans.
No fans. I mentioned that numbers are down in concerts and clubs. But here's some breaking news. Tim Hortons scraps roll-up-the-rim cups over the coronavirus concerns. That, my friends, says it all. This breaking news brought to you by the Humble and Fred Show. You knew that already?
Yeah, they ruined my spring.
Yeah.
They did what?
They ruined my spring. That's like what I
but
look forward to.
they're
is
going to do it
rolling out
online.
there.
I thought they were going online with that anyway.
Everything about Tim Hortons is going online now. You have
Well,
those
imagine
cards
that.
they came out
Tim
with
cards. Yeah.
are now kind of just not working for a lot of people.
No.
But you know that even prior to this, they always thought the roll up to win concept was a bit odd. That you would get a dirty cup and take it back into Tim Hortons and hand it to the person at the counter.
Yeah, well.
So, like, think about that. I mean, outside of coronavirus.
Well, here's how they describe it. Tim Hortons does not identify COVID-19 as the catalyst, okay, but says, in quotations, the current public health environment, there's some fucking spin for you, means it's not the right time for team members to collect rolled up tabs that have been in people's mouths. Well, when was the right time for that?
The 80s.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When was a good time?
Just the 80s.
Hey, I just rolled up the rim with my teeth. Here, minimum wage person.
Sure, I won't wash my hands.
But on the other hand, when they're handing them to team members, the team members aren't then supposed to lick them.
No.
That's not how they determine if you've won a free cup or not. Hang on a second.
test.
Okay, you win.
Counterfeit seal.
The company says it will redistribute or redistribute. What's the word?
Redistribute. Yeah.
Redistribute. That word sounds-
Redistribute.
Thank you.
Redistribute.
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 It was in there somewhere.
Redistribute.
Redo.
Redistribute. That was a legitimate.
Oh, give yourself that one.
Yeah.
That's one of those weird.
Redistribute. Yeah, you can do
Well,
both.
redistribute all $30 million worth of prizes to restaurant giveaways and a digital contest. McDonald's and Tim Hortons became the latest coffee purveyors to stop accepting reusable mugs brought in by customers.
Yeah, I don't know. Seriously, I don't know. Wish it would all go away.
Sure.
Like,
doesn't?
seriously. Like, I mean, really. Who'd have thought, like, 2 months ago, we'd be in the middle of this? You know. Seriously. Just stop.
Brew your own coffee, but buy it from them, right? Buy them.
But now it's serious. Now it's rolling. Hey, now it's affected. Roll up the rim season.
No roll. Up the rim.
We got some play-by-play. Do we actually have the...
So, yeah, I sent you 2 different clips. The first one is...
got one clip.
Well, it's all lumped together. The
Okay,
first
good.
40 seconds is before the game started, so it was all the female broadcasters standing with Cassie Campbell and everything.
Yeah.
Just talking. And then the next is the play-by-play.
Here we
So-
go. So we got time. We got. Let's have it.
Well, Tara, I can't imagine spending a better International Women's Day than with these 2 women, my broadcast partners for tonight, Leah and Cassie. An historic night for us. But I want to start by giving props to those who have come before us. We have seen all-female hockey broadcasts at the junior level, at the university level, and at the NHL level. It was back in 2008 when RDS did a broadcast of the Devils Lightning game. And, of course, a stick tap to our friends south of the border, who tonight, NBC, will be doing their all-female broadcast of the NHL game between the St. Louis Blues and the Chicago Black.
Wait, so it was
They
a
did
different...
their own.
Oh, it was a different crew.
The Americanos did their own.
Okay. You know, it's funny because when you mentioned Cassie Campbell, blah, 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 I'm like, I don't think I saw her name
Right.
on the NBC broadcast.
So we're in pretty
What's that, sir?
No, that's good for them.
Yeah.
good company. First of all,
So here's the
Whitecloud
play-by-play.
sends it over to Holden. He sends it ahead into the Flames' end. And right now, here comes Reeves. Takes the shot. There's the rebound in front. Nosek scores!
Yeah.
Tomas Nosek makes it 1-0 for the visitors here in the first.
This is probably the best fourth line in the NHL. Just a neutral zone transition, just simple play off the boards, a little chip up by Nosek, and then Ryan Reeves just attacks the net here, and he also attacks the defender in Eric Gustafson, and David Riddick gets turned around, just unable to make the save. But watch Reeves kind of takes out the defender, which just opens it up for Nosek. Just no one there to defend him, and he basically
Yeah, I wouldn't have
has
any
a wide
problem,
open net.
you know, hearing that or watching it. Came up. What do you? You're the bigger fan. What did you think?
Play-by-play. I mean, there's some. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know.
I thought it was pretty good considering.
I'd rather.
Yeah, sometimes you hear the play-by-play and it can be not very informative or follow the play at all.
Non-descriptive.
The truth, I'd rather hear them on a Saturday night than Jim Houston and Craig Simpson. Honestly, I don't like those guys. So, I mean, it's not even a guy-girl thing. It's like, what's palatable?
It's hard to believe, and I heard an interview with Hillary Clinton on the one of the Sunday morning shows on CNN. Hard to believe that, and forget her, if you don't like Hillary, that's fine. But hard really to believe that there aren't more women in charge of more things, considering that most of the women in our lives are in charge of everything. Like, in terms of managing, I know this is going to sound stereotypical, but it's just true. Women manage the majority of relationships and majority of households in terms of, I mean, they're already managing us, I think. Mothers and
in a lot of ways.
In a lot of ways, it's not it's not like a foreign concept in our personal lives, but it seems so ridiculously like we said about this all-female broadcast. Yeah, so what? They're fine. They were great, but it's hard to believe that there hasn't been a woman in charge of a country.
Well, Margaret Thatcher. I mean, there are examples.
I'm talking about the.
I know.
And there's Germany and
Angela Merkel,
India.
Yeah, I mean, but in North American society, it's still a fairly foreign concept. Like, Margaret Thatcher's 30 years ago now.
Yeah,
40 years ago,
1980.
Yeah, I mean, but considering how much of a life that we're in are dominated by women. In a lot of ways that we just take for granted. And yet it's such a novelty. Elizabeth Warren and all these other women that, have just gone by the wayside.
And here we are in 2020. We're left with 3 old men. Like back to the future, so to speak.
3 old men.
Yeah.
And even that, those Democrats really don't like Bernie Sanders. They really don't want him. Like, that's obvious now. Like, fucking Joe Biden. Come on. And taking nothing. And by the way, Hillary was pretty complimentary to Joe. She's not a fan of Bernie Sanders.
No, I know. And Bernie's older than Joe, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, parts of Bernie scare me, too, as a fiscal conservative. I'll be honest. He does. If I had the choice, I'd take Biden. I'd roll the dice with Joe. But, I mean, it doesn't. I don't think it matters anyway. But
well, yeah. I can't remember. I sent you one article, but I was going to send you the other article that I read in the New York Times. You get those free articles. I think I'm down to my last one for this month, but it was basically that what we had mentioned earlier in the show, that they think what will bring down Trump's presidency is the virus, because there's no way to avoid it. I mean, avoid taking, getting. He can't hide from the truth of the virus.
Well, isn't that interesting? Because sort of what got him elected was bullshit, right? And again, on whatever level, and again, when I say this, if this virus brings him down, how much of that will be genuine? Did he really deserve to take the fall because of a virus? Mm-hmm. But it's all timing, right? Mm-hmm. Obama creates an economy. He becomes president and rolls with it. And now he's president, and the virus comes along, and he takes the fall. It's all about timing.
Yeah.
And can you really pinpoint the percentage or the degree of genuine blame? But hey, sorry, buddy, that's the way she rolls. It's what got you elected. It may get you unelected.
Same weapon, right?
Yes,
double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's not even that he deserves. What he'll get hung with isn't so much the responsibility for it, but his response to it, and that isn't bullshit. That is deserved.
No, I know, but by who? So all those people that follow him like sheep now, all of a sudden they're going to blame him for the virus?
No, it's the people now that may not have been motivated prior.
Right. Maybe, yeah.
But as far as Biden and Bernie Sanders, I mean, to me, they all shouldn't be in this race.
Well, how about this? So all of a sudden this week, it's like, this is amazing. The virus is sort of evaporated. It's gone away. Or, by the way, they say they're like a year away from a vaccine, right?
Yep.
Super. If you really despise Trump, do you want this? Do you want this virus to hang on to get rid of him, or do you want it to go away and let him escape this wrath?
If this was a Democratic president and it was Trump making that judgment, he'd probably say yes. He would want the virus to continue if it benefits him.
I don't even think this ultimately will be his downfall. I think he's still going to get elected, to be honest with you. Mainly because I think Biden is weak, and I think that Bernie Sanders has no chance.
Watching Narcos, Mexico. 1988, there was an election in Mexico, just a complete scam. Like, one drug trafficker sort of controlled the election. And a large part of it, too, was, like, voter suppression.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, the United States, so holier than thou in so many situations. Voter suppression is a huge problem in the United States and will continue to be. You know that the Trump administration, and even maybe the Democrats to a certain way, I mean, they're identifying, do they call them ridings down there? Whatever they call them.
Precincts. Oh, precincts.
Whatever they are. Those are being identified now.
Yeah.
And how to create lineups.
Oh, yeah.
It took Mexico 11 years from 1988 to break free from the suppression.
That's right.
You wonder how long it will take the U.S.
Because that's going to go on. You can bet your ass.
Well, and it went on. It's been going on a long time. A lot of those, and it's always the poor counties.
So how do you have an affluent, white-collared precinct where people just flow in and flow out, and it's just drive up, go in and vote, and then show one, say, in South Carolina, a black neighborhood where they're lined up, people have to wait 3 and 4 hours? How does that happen in the United States of America? Why do, what does Fox News have to say about that? So
that they don't have an Elections Canada. They don't have an independent agency that will hold these people accountable.
The way it works is it's all done precinct to precinct, county to county, differently across the country.
In Mexico, they actually, at gunpoint, made people add zeros to ballot counts. Add zeros to ballot counts. Then they took the ballots and burned them. Great, eh? Super. Yeah. Wonderful.
Well,
also a drug lord could move his drugs through Mexico.
Yes, he can.
Nice.
And I don't even know how many times I've said it, but I'll try and say it in a different way. There are so many things that go on at so many different levels of the world that we have no access to that information. What you just told me, I'm sure we didn't. There'd be nobody that we knew in 1988 that knew what you just told me.
Oh, no.
But I'm saying, so whatever's going on now, we won't live long enough to somebody going, hey, 30 years ago, during that election, this stuff actually happened. Oh, we've gotten a few hints of it, but we don't ever get to really know all the different levels of intrigue. And so what you brought up this morning about this virus, how is it different than SARS or swine flu or avian flu? Well, in a lot of ways, it's different because of social media. We've talked about that. But who knows the levels of intrigue? Why didn't they... Phil, you have a better memory than anyone in the room. Why during the SARS crisis, why weren't they canceling sporting events? Why didn't they shut down stadiums?
Well, if memory serves me right, the Canadian government did tell people to quarantine themselves, my family included. So we were just very selective about what to do. And all this also at the same time, the most publicity you got from health authorities was those posters for hand washing. Like, you really didn't get much in comparison to
what's
Facebook
the difference between? But they weren't canceling soccer games or soccer crowds in 2000 and whatever it was, 3.
Yeah. But it's much more spreadable. This virus is much more spreadable, and so is the information, the misinformation, and the folks who have internet access, right? Because back then, I think 50-something% of the world had internet, let alone any service that would spread this, right? And now in 2019, there are folks who have 3 or 4 cell phones around the world. It just depends.
But how is that turning into people what's the word? What?
How could this be
self-quarantine?
Yeah.
No, shutting down events that is
Right.
costing millions of dollars.
It's also us being changed as a world. People travel more. Like back in the SARS crisis, they said there were 70,000 some odd tourists from China, as this example. But last year, we had 750,000. People are traveling more. Plane tickets are cheaper. My mother, back in 2003, when they went back to China to say hi to my relatives and came back with the SARS problem, they spent something like $11,000 on 4 plane tickets. Now it's $700 to China. It's really cheap now.
I'm confused. Did your mom bring back SARS?
No. Actually, the fact is, they stayed at a hotel in Hong Kong. 2 floors up was the first Canadian case and death of SARS. Traveled on the same plane and everything.
I was just going to say, I think one difference, too, in this time versus SARS is that it's directly affecting most industries that are out there right now, world industries. So that's kind of that's becoming more of a story as well because of social media. It's like immediate. You can know that, like, all right, Canada's being affected because oil or steel or something like that.
The supply chains were so different back then. Yeah, like computers back then mostly came from Taiwan, but nowadays it's mostly from China. Most of the more important stuff that we rely on comes from one country.
So like Apple's being affected, Google's being affected, all the ones we know of.
I'm just concerned that social media, that hysteria and everything, I get it, and it's overblown. It's just, to me, how that is turning into people choosing to not make money or lose money. I think if it was just that hysteria, those places would be going, no, it's business as usual. Settle down, everybody.
Yeah.
There's just too many people right now sacrificing money. That's the thing that scares me.
Yeah, and I was going to say that's the big difference that I do not recall.
No.
Now, some amount of that is hysteria. It's the pandemic of... It's the first time there's been this much access to information and something like this has happened. But you can ask the question, and we still don't have an answer. Why would you cancel South by Southwest or any of these other things that would be potential millions of dollars of loss?
That's why I bring up industry, though, and that it's an event like that. You have so much supplies and equipment that you actually need that. That's going to be held. There's businesses that aren't selling that right now.
I understand.
Yeah, we know.
Well, also,
I understand
loss.
that.
It depends on who scares who, by the way, because it's selected events.
That's
not
the
all
supply
events,
chain.
Right?
I totally understand that. It's these events that concern me. But
they didn't cancel Auto Show. I'll tell you that.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Well,
it just depends on
who. The Augusta National Golf Course put out a statement last week saying that as of now we're still holding the tournament.
Good.
First weekend in April, I think, and
not far away.
Yeah, but I'm saying like everyone is aware of it at a level that wasn't as prevalent whenever SARS hit.
That's right, because back then, most of us still watched the 6 o'clock news. We were reading newspapers. Like, I remembered walking into high school at 8 a.m. in the morning, picking up the Star. It's like, it was a very different world back then. People weren't as mobile and interested.
All right, well, listen, we got a new guy here. We're going to talk to him after the show, I think, because we've done enough. We're tired. A lot of talking. I mean, Mark Jordan was here, and he left like a half an hour ago.
That's true.
Been and gone.
He shook our hands before he left. I was surprised.
Oh, he's fist bumped.
I didn't shake his hand.
Yeah.
Oh, he came,
As of right now, he shook
came
your
over
hand.
And grabbed mine.
Yeah.
I was going to say, get away. But
I just waved him off.
Yeah.
I'm not shaking hands anymore.
I'm
done with that. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Done with it.
Really?
Finished.
Mark loves you more.
I'm going to be... Why? I don't want no Corona.
For Mark Jordan.
I don't want Corona. Mark Jordan's Corona.
Unfortunately, Amy Sky, his wife, was performing the other day, and she caught the coronavirus, unfortunately. My full apologies, and here's the hand.
What?
Well, you get what I mean. Some of that, by the way, is irrational, too.
About?
You should be able to shake someone's hand.
I'm going to be
right?
at the Harvey Aitken Purim stand-up comedy competition tonight. I'm going. But I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to hold my hands up. No shaky hands. Although I suppose I'll have to, because that's what you always do as an MC. I'm going to tell all the comics, let's not do the shaking hands part. Because as the MC, every comic comes up, you have to shake their hand. Then when you come back up, you shake their hand again. I'm not doing that.
Do you think of this as the Illuminati?
Yeah, man.
Crash the stock market.
Yep.
Go in with all your money, buy stocks low, and just make more.
Let's do it.
No, I'm just saying.
Let's do it,
we
man.
could.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, do you think it's an overall... That was the overall thing. Create this. Stock market plunges. They take all their liquid cash, buy all reduced price stock.
Yes.
And make even more money that they don't need.
Well, I'm not in that. I'm in the Illuminati, and that's what that's what we're planning to do.
No handshaking, but you'll invest.
What?
No, I'm at a loss with this.
But do you want to listen? If you want to do that,
concerned.
I say we do it. We take whatever cash we have in the Humble and Fred's, bank account, and we just we plunge it into the market when when it's down, and then we ride that baby to the end.
And let me be clear: I don't care about the virus or who gets it. I care about the fallout. To be honest.
Yeah.
Go get sick. You get sick.
No, I
don't care about that.
I know.
Care about the fallout.
I know who you are. You don't. Well, you don't want the virus, or
no, I don't
or
want
have
the
a
virus.
loved
But
one.
apparently, if I get it, I'll sneeze a few times and move on. I'm concerned about the fallout.
It's true.
Well, let's talk about it off the air. Let's get into some cheap stock, and for once in our lives, buy at the right time.
There were stupider ways for people to die, I'll tell you that.
All right.
Like the TSX opens in 12 minutes. I don't even want to look at it.
Just stay away from it. What are you going to do? Watch more Narcos. Okay? Why don't you come to the Perm Comedy Festival with me tonight? Come on.
People always make those jokes. Hey, yeah, Freedom 75. Yeah, that's us.
Yeah.
Guess we'll be doing this show longer.
Well,
Unless every, advertiser in the world dries up, too.
oh, please.
What?
Stop it. God damn it, man. I'm going to give you some nice weed to take home. Get you all gooned up. Yeah, we smoke weed, buddy.
COVID freedom. I like that. Coronavirus freedom here.
Yeah. We're COVID conscious. We're Corona. What'd I say? We're Corona.
Cool before Corona or Corona before cool?
We were Corona before it was cool, man. We'll see you tomorrow.
Jamboree handouts, 2 turntables and a microphone. Bottles and cans, and just clap your hands, and just clap your hands.